What if we could change our attitude by using two very common phrases more often? Stick around, and I'm going to tell you a story on myself about how I came to realize this. It changed my attitude. Hi, this is Connie Suarez, and in case we haven't met, I live in Southeast Colorado with my mom, and I've been taking care of her for some time, and I love doing that. I'm so grateful that I have that opportunity, and I'm grateful for the fact that I can build a business from home, fitting those activities into the nooks and crannies of caring for my mom kind of leave in my life. And so I want to share with you something that occurred to me after I took a challenge to not complain for 24 hours. It was a post on Facebook, and it basically said, don't complain for 24 hours and see how it changes your life. And as I'm thinking to myself, wow, I think I am a big complainer and I need to take this challenge. And I did. It was fairly late in the evening. And so there wasn't very much time between when I took the challenge and when I went to bed. And as I was going to bed, I realized that I'd already failed in the challenge. I don't know that I spoke a complaint, but I think that the inner complaints, the thought complaints count. And because that's, what we think is what comes out of our mouth mostly. So I was thinking on that this morning, and I thought, it would have been much easier if I'd done it a different way. I think I took on an impossible challenge, especially if I was going to include my thoughts. And no wonder, our brains are wired to not change. So I think if we really want to combat this complaining attitude, which is not a good thing, it is not attractive to people. And if we are in the business of attracting people to ourselves, then we should find a way to stop complaining. We need to be proactive, actually. And I will have a better chance of success in not being a complainer if I commit to giving thanks for whatever happens, even the things that I complain about, especially the things that I complain about. And there's a very scientific explanation for why this is really true. We choose to when we try to break a habit, like complaining, that is controlled by a part of the brain called the basal ganglia, which also plays a role in development of emotions, memories, and pattern recognitions, but not decisions. Decisions is a totally different part of the brain. And our basal ganglia will help us hang on to all of those bad habits, all of those bad thought patterns that are destructive to us and disagreeable to the people around us. But decisions are made at a different part of the brain altogether. So there's two different things going on in the brain. And actually, we can decide to override the basal ganglia, but we have to do it in a better way than just saying, I'm not going to complain for the next 24 hours. To override the basal ganglia, you need to decide to do something positive to replace that negative. And for me, I think for all of us, if you want to break complaining, then just say thank you for everything. There's a Bible verse that says this, in everything give thanks. And I've heard people over and over misquote this verse, and they say, in everything be thankful. Well, as maybe you can think about this for a moment, where would we be thankful? what part of our brain would be thankful? The basal ganglia. The giving thanks is that decision. I'm going to give thanks for this instead. And that's made in the prefrontal cortex. And if I intentionally decide to do that, I can override that self-destructive basal ganglia idea of hanging on to this terrible complaining. So the truth is, sometimes it's hard to be thankful. So I'm glad that that verse says, in everything, give thanks, because it's easy to say thank you. It's hard to feel thankful, but it's easy to say thank you. And I can say thank you without feeling the emotion of thankfulness, right? But here's the exciting part. Once we say thank you, something starts happening in the basal ganglia. We start feeling an emotion of thankfulness. And the more we say thank you, the more thankful we feel. The more we say thankful, the more grateful we feel. And we become a happier person, first of all. We become somebody that's just been obedient to something that we've been told to do in the Bible. And we become attractive to other people. So if you are online trying to attract people to you, then you've found a secret sauce in attraction marketing. It's saying thank you. And incidentally, I've discovered that this concept also works for saying you're welcome. And I discovered this quite by accident. And I'm not very proud to say it, but I am not only a complainer, I'm a grumbler. And it shows up when I'm helping my mom. And I'm not proud of that. But sometimes I'm busy doing Connie things, and mom wants Connie to do something for her, and Connie wants to keep doing Connie things. And guess what? My basal ganglia gang up on me, and they grumble and they complain and they feel. But thanks to the grace of God, I more often than not do what I'm supposed to do, but sometimes with a grumbling attitude. But when mom says thank you to me, I have been taught to say you're welcome. And I notice sometimes when I say you're welcome, I don't really mean it much, but I say it because that's what I should say. And I discovered some time ago that if I say you're welcome, it kind of softens that grumbling attitude. And I realize that if I will say you're welcome in a, you can say you're welcome, or you can say you're welcome and put a smile on the end of that. And I feel differently if I say it the first way as opposed to the second way, because there is just power in using our prefrontal cortex to decide that we're not going to let the basal ganglia emotion control our language and our mood and our attitude. And so I just, what blows my mind, it is so automatic and quick that you just can't help but notice the power of saying, you're welcome, thank you. Those are powerful words if we'll just decide to say them. If we say those words, then the emotions of thankfulness and gratefulness will follow. And all because we commit to using common phrases of good manners. Anybody that thinks children shouldn't be taught good manners these days should consider this lesson that I've learned. So say thank you and you're welcome, and watch. Just pay attention. Do it as an experiment. Go into the lab and experiment with this. Of course, you're going to have to wait until somebody comes along and interacts with you in such a way that you really do say thank you or you're welcome legitimately, and watch what happens to your attitude. Who knew that these things were so powerful? So here's my challenge to you. take the thank you and you're welcome challenge for 24 hours. And then will you let me know how it worked for you? This is Connie Suarez. I'll be in touch, and I hope you will too.